Welcome back, guys, and let's continue with the next part. um, Very interesting topic. You will definitely like this today's class because you will get actually the actual flow, how how exactly we normally use a cloud services in the real world, or maybe how industry actually use the cloud services in their and I can say how they can integrate the cloud service that we have discussed already in their application, right? So what I mean by this, let me give you an entire detailed uh, scenario. You understand what exactly I'm talking about. Yes, if you can hold for 1 minute, please. Just hold for 1 minute. Okay. First of all, guys, today we are going to start exclusively in the AWS training program, a developer track. Okay, so I can say today we have a exclusive class on the dev, or I can say the developer track of AWS. CSA portion we have already covered. But the way I have delivered the CSA portion of the AWS, almost the content of developer track, or I can say more than 90% content of the developer track is already been done with in detail with pure practical in CSA classes. Okay, remaining 10% portion that we are going to start from today, right? That by chance is not the part of CSA as such. So I am planning to start this track from today. It doesn't mean the content of both the track are same, but I was keep on talking about that there's some small discussion on CSA. They had a advanced discussion on developer track. So rather than I just take this topic in the developer track, I completed there. That is a reason more than 90% content has already been covered in the developer track. Okay, but remaining 10%, which that is very much powerful, very much interesting topic, we're going to start from today. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about Boto 3 library. It is one of the SDK, okay, and through which we can integrate with AWS cloud. Okay, and I'll start this topic from very basics, but before this, let me explain you the entire context why we need SDK. Okay, or I can say mostly where's my mouse? What am I guys? Mostly in the real world and in the industry, mostly we integrate our applications with the SDK. It's again depend upon team to team, use case to use case, but the scenario that I'm going to explain you will understand, guys, what is the power and the need of the SDK. What is SDK also you'll understand in a minute. Okay, so before this, let me explain you one more small thing that you guys know already. AWS is one of the cloud. And if you want to manage the cloud, okay, it is a one thing, or if you want to use the cloud, it is a different thing. Okay, so either you can manage the cloud, and the guy who normally manage the cloud are typically known as users. And the guys who want to use the cloud, okay, they are typically known as client. Okay, so what I mean by management, if you want to manage the cloud, typically it means that I have some services in AWS like EC2. Okay, EC2, and I would like to go and launch the instance there, go to VPC, set up the VPC subnets and all the things there. That is typically come into the management perspective, and those are the normally users or maybe the admins or architects. They are the one who actually manage the cloud. Okay, and for the management of the cloud, we have a multiple choices or multiple interfaces. One may be web UI. You guys know, everybody know web UI. Okay, this is one of the way. Second way would be CLI, command line interface. Okay, third way would be that you can use, but it's not meant for actually for management purpose. That's called API, and that's the main topic for today. You can use API for the management, but as such, we technically we don't use API mostly for the management purpose. What is API? Don't worry, we'll discuss today. Okay, so I normally don't take the API interface in the context of management purpose. Okay, but there's a lot of tool available in the market. They build on the top of API, and by the help of those tools, you can manage the cloud. One of the great tool you guys might be there in those training is called Terraform. So Terraform is a third-party tool from different company. They create this tool, their framework on the top of the API. So you don't have to worry more about the API. You can use those tools, and by this tool, we can go and create instances, EBS, connect, VPCs, firewalls, all the things we can do here. But technically, if you guys know Terraform and you are with me in this training, you'll see there till date, whatever we are doing in the Terraform, it is again about the management perspective. Again, I'm repeating what is management. If you want to go to log into the cloud and then you configure the services, means set up VPC, EBS volumes, and something like this. So they are more, the job is more about a management perspective. Okay, but if you talk about the client, okay, so who would be normally the client? So the client would be those who use AWS. Okay, and one of the typical client, those who want to use AWS, I can say mostly and typical client is your application. So application is the one who normally use the AWS cloud or maybe any other cloud. What I mean by this, so let me give you one great scenario. You will understood very cleanly and clearly what I mean by that application is the client for the AWS cloud. Okay, so you can think in this way. You can think in this way. For example, let's say we have a developer and developer has created application. Let's say this application is a website. So I can use the word called web app. Okay, and this is the website they have created. They host the website somewhere. Okay, now guys, for hosting, we can use Beanstalk or we can launch EC2 instances. Okay, so again, who will launch a platform and service called Beanstalk or EC2 instance or firewall setup, all the things? Again, the management guys, either you can use Terraform or you can use command line or web UI, the way you wanted to do. So again, this part is the management part. So my IT team or admin teams, will they go and give us a background infrastructure? And on the top of the infrastructure, we deploy this application. Who created this application? My developer. So developer is the one who developed these things. So they are the developer. Okay, admin guy is the one who will provision our infrastructure. Okay, but who gonna use this particular application? Obviously somebody from the internet. So they will be the client. They will be the client of this app. Now guys, it all depends what facility this app will provide to the client. Let's say one of the facility would be app. Say if you are a client and let's say we are some portal, and if you want to use us, you have to first first create an account there. And while creating the account, we will provide you a form where you have to put your name, your email ID, some password, or maybe while creating the profile, it is compulsory to put your photograph here. And you guys know when somebody put a photograph, photograph is one kind of file, and then you go and submit. So it's all depend upon the developer, what kind of form they create. My client go fill the information, upload the photograph or click the photograph and submit. And this entire information will go to this web app. And now it is a duty of the web app where they store these information or where they store this file. And you guys know information is a data. And if you want to store the data, normally you need database. Okay, and photo is a file, and if you want to store the file, you need a file system, or you normally need a folder or the storage. Okay, now it is your choice. Either you can use SQL kind of database, or you can use no SQL kind of database. Okay, so it's again depend upon requirement to requirement, but typically nowadays, whenever we're collecting the information from the user, there's a lot of reason behind the scene. We will discuss in upcoming discussion classes. Normally, preferably, we use no SQL databases, maybe MongoDB or something like this. Okay, but there's one more database from the Amazon that they have created. They invented. This called DynamoDB. So in upcoming class, we'll discuss about DynamoDB, and is a NoSQL database, where to use, where not to use. That is the discussion that we'll do in the future classes. So it all depend upon the web developer where they want to store data. Okay, and accordingly they will store there. But if my web developer say no, I want to store data in DynamoDB is one kind of database, so it will be their choice. So technically, my web application will go to DynamoDB and say, DynamoDB, I want to store data in you. Okay, so for the DynamoDB perspective, this web application would be the client of this DynamoDB service. And by chance, this service is there in the AWS cloud. But guys, don't worry about DynamoDB. Don't worry if you haven't heard about. In my upcoming class, we'll discuss a lot about DynamoDB. Today class is not at all about this database. Okay, let's talk a little bit simple that we know already. So let's say this client, let me give the name called web client. Okay, upload the photograph. So this is my choice of my web application where they want to store this photograph. Either they can store this photograph in the same EC2 instance, maybe in the root hard disk, or maybe in the external hard disk called EBS. That will be their choice. But they know this photograph will be huge in the numbers. We have billions of clients. There's no limit. There's no limit in the terms of photograph come up or photograph size. Maybe they may be petabyte. We don't know. So I want such a storage that can be scalable on the fly, and then we can do a lot of planning in the terms of speed. We can do a planning for encryptions and some more thing. So you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about S3. So there's one service, guys, from AWS called S3 that you know is one service by AWS. So this applicant say, whatever the files come up, photograph come up, I will store this photograph, right? I will connect to S3, and I will store my photograph in the S3, because this is one kind of infinite store. SS, not infinite, but SS infinite store. Maybe exabyte they provide, but is an infinite store. And we can do a lot of planning. You know, we can select multiple storage classes with the speed, amount, pricing. What is storage class? You guys know already. We can do encryption. We can't do encryption. We can do a lot of policies and permissions. So technically, anything you want to manage in terms of file, we can do that. Okay, so S3 give you a lot of facility for the storage for the files. Okay, so my developer has decided now whatever photographs or the file or the PDF or video come from the client, my application, not me as a developer, because every second thousands of client is connected. Okay, and not as an admin. I can't say that admin that you are the one who know S3, you know S3 portal, you know how to upload the bucket or also upload the objects, you know how to use the command line. So I can tell my admin that every time photo come up, upload there in S3 bucket. Okay, because every second hundreds of photo come up. I can't keep on asking admin with the use of web UI or command line go there. Okay, why I'm talking about command line? Because command line is a command, AWS command, but this application is not written in the command. This application is written by developer, and developer might use Java there, they might use Ruby there, they might use Node.js there, they might use Python there. So depend guys how they create this web application, which framework they use for creating the web application, it will be their choice. Okay, so I can't tell my web developer that my AWS only listen Terraform, only listen command line, just create a web application in Terraform. So guys, we can't create website in the Terraform. We can't create a website with the command line commands. Okay, so developer normally in their language, whatever language they are comfortable on, whatever they wanted to create. Typically, these are the top some languages they normally use to create the application. So technically, what I want here, finally, what I want here, as soon as the file upload, my application has the capability to collect this file, but I also want my application will go to S3 and upload the file there, the object there in the S3 storage. So technically, with the perspective of S3 services, who is coming? Application is coming. So here, application would be the client of S3. Okay, or web application is the one who is going to use the services or the resources of S3. S3. Okay, so typically what I'm talking about, normally if you talk about the service like S3 or DynamoDB or lots of other services in the cloud, normally we have to configure the services or create the infrastructure once, or we have to keep on maintaining for some time. So role of admin or infrastructure guys might not be so much. Is there, depend upon requirement to requirement, but on daily basis, per second basis, per minute basis, my company web application, now it is your choice, this application running in your laptop, in your data center, in your premises, or this application may be running in AWS only. It will be running anywhere, doesn't matter. But normally application is the one who keep on utilizing the resources of AWS, right? Depend how you connect your application to the resources. Okay, that's what guys I was talking about. I was talking about mostly if you want to use the AWS, you want to use the AWS, then we become a client. And if you are a client, right, then mostly application is the one, maybe your mobile app, maybe web app, maybe sometimes desktop app also. So so application is the one who keep on utilizing the AWS resources. Okay, so typically how to use web UI, you guys know. How to use CLI, you guys know. Anybody who are there in the Terraform, you guys know how to use Terraform also. But today's class will be focusing more on how your application written in some language can become a client, means they can utilize AWS. And again guys, by this diagram, I think I explained to you, it is very common practice, it is very common architecture, right? Normally your developer has to put code in your web app and say, this part of data I want to store in database, this file I want to store in S3, this part of data I want to put in message queue like SQS, this kind of data I want to do notification, I will contact to SNS and something like this. So depend guys, tons of service there. For this kind of data, I will contact to SageMaker deep learning, machine learning services so that they can train the model. Okay, so different guys, what applications need, that will be future perspective as a developer. What application you are creating, you're planning to create, depend upon your services already available in the AWS. You have to just be a client. Okay, and if you want to be a client, then you should know how your application can connect to AWS. And that is the reason, guys, all the services in AWS, okay, they provided you one interface. Using this interface, right, your application with the help of programming can connect. This is called API. Okay, think like they give some internal URL of this services, for example S3, and by this URL you have a capability to do API or connect to the API. Okay, so what is actually meaning of API? As such, we don't need, but anybody who are there in my Python Rise training, recently, guys, I deliver a detailed discussion on the API there. Anybody who wanted to know, you guys can go through those classes. If you really want to know the exact meaning of the API, it's free classes. You can go and read it. Okay, but that much right now, what I'm discussing about, that much knowledge is enough for going for today's class. Okay, so if you talk about a language, let's say we are talking about Python. So let's say your application is created in the Python. So if you want, Python will go and connect to AWS and connect to their services, or maybe connect to their resources. So maybe your Python, maybe your Java, okay, or maybe your Ruby, okay, any of the language you use, or maybe Node.js, okay, they have the API. API is same, URL is same, everything is same. But if you want, Python will go and connect to the API. If you want, Java will go and connect to the API. So per language basis, AWS guys, or maybe some kind of third-party guys, has created a program, sometime also known as driver. They created a driver program. So Python will know by this program or the driver how to connect to their API of that particular service. Okay, and those driver is also known as SDK, software development kit. So they give you a kit to the Python and say, you are the developer, you are the one through which we develop the application. Okay, so in this SDK, we provided a lot of functionality, a lot of method we provided, a lot of classes we provided. Use this method, use this function. Every function is doing something for you, but internally, every function is connecting to the URL or to the API of that particular service. Behind the scene, you don't have to worry about. Everything is being developed by some of the community guys who create SDK for you. You just keep on running the functions, and your whatever you want to do, it will be achieved. But again, guys, for example, if you want to create a bucket, right, using language called Python, so we have SDK for the Python, and in this SDK, how to create a bucket, they give a function. Let's say a function name is create bucket. If you want to upload the file, that is called object. So we have a function called upload object or put object. This function is available. So everything available, but again, I'm repeating the same point. We know how to upload the object with Web UI. We know how to upload the object in CLI. Okay, so why to use Python SDK? Because again, technically I explain to you, my application want to upload the file. Or because application written in Python, so I can't ask Python to go to CLI and upload there. I can't tell the Python go to Web UI and upload there. I want one single language will do everything for me. Okay, so entire website is created in Python. So there's one function required where I want Python will collect image or the file from the user of this application, the client of this application from the internet, and Python is the one who will go use their capability of the AWS SDK. SDK is one kind of, you can think is one kind of library, one kind of driver who know how to connect to S3, how to connect to EC2, how to connect to DynamoDB. Okay, something like this. So my Python will do the same thing. They will go and upload the things, and that's what, guys, I explained to you. Okay, so SDK is just a concept. Every platform, maybe Azure Cloud or any other platform, maybe some other tools also, mostly they give their SDK. Okay, and normally they give the SDK for different languages. Most commonly used language like Java, Python, Node, Ruby. They give you, depend on which your developer are comfortable on, and which language they create this ongoing application, so they can use it very simply. Okay, but today, guys, in my class we are going to use Python as a language. But again, the way I'm going to explain you, it will go same with Java, Node, Ruby. So anybody who are comfortable in other languages, you can use your personal and favorite language over here. But I'm using Python. Nothing is special, pretty simple. Most of the guys know here. So I thought to use Python. And because we are using Python, so Python there's some third-party company, okay, who created SDK for the Python, and name of the SDK is Boto3. So Boto3 is the SDK name, or when I say SDK, it also mean to say library. Okay, so anybody who know Python, in the Python we have a lot of library come up for multiple things. Boto3 is one of the library over here. So if you search for Boto3, okay, so this document come up is the AWS SDK, only AWS SDK, but for Python. Okay, if you click here, this official website, okay, some third-party company has created over here, and they give you how to use Boto3. Depend, guys, what you want to do. You have to do with something EC2, CloudWatch, DynamoDB, S3, ECS, EQS, KMS. So a lot of examples they give you very commonly. If you currently use example, they give to you. You can go there, but technically here they give you API references. What I mean by API references, for example, they say if you want to create a bucket, so what is the function name to use, and in the function what argument you have to pass. If you want to upload the object, what function you have to use, what argument you have to pass. Okay, so they give all the function name. Typically also here they use the word API. Okay, and these are the services they support. So again, if you see, guys, here almost all the services of AWS they support. Okay, and let's say if you want to do something on EC2, so they tell you how to launch the instances, how to create a key pair, how to create routes, and all the things they explain to you. If you go to S3 here, let me search for S3. I'm so sorry. S3. So here they talk about S3. So here they are very clear. If you want to do something on the bucket, how to do it, how to create a bucket life cycle, how to do bucket chorus, ACL. Yesterday, guys, we discussed about this. Bucket policy, we discussed, versioning, we discussed, website, we discussed, almost everything we discussed over here as a bucket perspective. Okay, so for example, 1 minute, I disclose. 1 minute, guys. S3, for example, if you want to do something on the bucket, click here. They take you that page of S3, and here they are very clear. Okay, how to use bucket, or how to use class of the bucket, how to use bucket function, how to use bucket method. So don't worry, guys, for today's class, if you are not as such from the programming background, you don't know what is method and class is, don't worry, guys, I'll take a class in such a way, even though you are not a programmer, you will understand the flow. Okay, how the thing work. But I highly recommend all the guys who are there in the Python Rise, because they know lots of things out the Python Rise. And there also, guys, we are discussing about full stack development with the help of Flask. So they know how to create a web application also. Okay, so all the Python Rise guys, I highly recommend now start converting your code. Okay, and start inculcating or integrating inside the code with the AWS. Okay, again, for example, if you want to collect some file or PDF in your application, from the client of your website, get from the client the way you have you're doing, but finally stored in S3, something like this. Okay, so start converting your code slowly, and start integrating with the AWS cloud. But yeah, it is compulsory for the Earth learner because in the Earth learner, guys, everyone from the Earth, it is compulsory to create a Flask application, and multiple tasks I had already given to you. So whenever you feel that this part of my application, I have to take a service or want to use AWS cloud as a client, start converting your code. So rather than store your file locally, rather than use your local database, use the database of cloud, use the S3 storage, and slowly start converting your code into and integrating with the AWS cloud. Okay, it takes some time, obviously, but but the way I'm going to start today's class, you will see it's so simple. If you know Python, if you know your personal language, or you know AWS cloud that you know already, after having that much knowledge, right? Integrating with the cloud and use the cloud as a client is not a big deal. Okay, so guys, I think this discussion has explained to you when to use WebUI CLI or to code like tool like Terraform, and when to use API. So it is not like this. Somebody say cloud give you CLI or API, use one. Both will use. So if you are admin guys, you want to manage the cloud as automation, then you can go for CLI or maybe Terraform. But if you are the developers of the applications and if you want to use the AWS, then we use the API. Okay, we can use the API for management purpose also. We can use the API to launch the instances, but typically that's not actually mean API meant for. They are mainly meant to integrate with your ongoing application. Okay, so you just think in this way. So you have a better planning and better design, I can say, who and the responsibility also, who will take care which part of my cloud. Okay, so still here we have got a great idea. Now guys, today's plan is I'm going to show you how to use Boto 3 library. It is for Python only. Okay, for Java you will find different library. For Ruby, Node.js, you will find different library, but the flow, idea, logics will be exactly the same. Okay, so today guys, I'm going to use Boto 3 library, and with the help of Boto 3 library, we are going to write a code in the Python language. In this code, I'm going to show you multiple practicals of S3 services. So according to Python, according to Boto 3, or you can think this is my entire application, maybe a mobile app, maybe web app, okay, or maybe menu-based app, whatever guys you have created or you guys know. Okay, so this application will go and contact to this service, and this service also known as resource. So I'll show you guys how to connect with this resource and do lots of things in this resource. Again, the intention is only not S3. I picked the S3 because in S3 we can do lots of things. Okay, but intention here to show you the flow and the approach. After you know the approach, now after this, whatever service you want to integrate with Python or application, it won't be a big challenge for you. Okay, so let's guys, from here we'll start. So two things we need. First, I need AWS cloud that is already exist. Obviously you need an account there. So one, we need AWS cloud that we already have, and second, we need a Python. And with the Python, I also need this library. Okay, so those who by chance don't know Python, I'll try to start the things from very basics. But even though guys, I suggest if you have basics knowledge of Python, this will help you a lot. So we'll provide you guys some ISC Rise classes. It's again free available, but those who wanted to know some basics, you can go for some of the classes of ISC Rise where you will be comfortable on the Python. Okay, but right now guys, I'm using my Windows operating system, and my Windows, I already have the Python. So so how to install Python? Python is free software. very quickly, those who don't have Python, I highly recommend. There's a software called Anaconda. Okay, Anaconda Python. Search here, click and download Anaconda from here. Okay, what Anaconda will provide you, it give you Python installation with a lot of libraries. So I recommend guys to install Python by this tool. After install Anaconda and you open your command prompt, and if you search here Python, enter, you'll get this prompt, means you are inside the Python. Means Python is there in your OS. But if you're using Mac or Linux, normally Linux, they have Python already inbuilt, so you don't have to worry about in the Linux operating system. Okay, let me exit from here. So I have the Python. Because I installed Python with Anaconda, so they give you one more tool. This tool is called pip. It is one installer of the library of the Python. Like anybody who knows Linux, Red Hat, yum is the command, is an installer for the software. Similarly, pip is the installer for the Python library. You can use pip install Boto 3. So this will install Boto 3 library or Boto 3 HD or Boto 3 Boto 3 driver. Okay, so in my case, I already have, so there's nothing to do, but otherwise in your case, it will download for you. Okay, there's one thing, and that's all. We are good to go. Today, guys, I'm going to create lots of code for multiple things one by one. So let me open your document also. I keep on posting all the steps. So 1 minute, please. Right now, guys, I'm putting this data in the same folder that is given to you. Okay, in the same folder, I'm creating this thing. And I'm giving a folder name called AWS dev folder. And here I'm putting all the code and all the document. Okay. So let me start from here. Okay. So this one, and plus because we install Python with Anaconda. Anaconda give you one more tool. They give you one ID that's called Jupyter. So I'm going to use Jupyter so I can write and manage my code very easily. Okay. So what I'm doing right now, I'll go to our folder, and here I'm going to create one more new folder called dev. There's one workspace just to manage my code. And here I'm running Jupyter notebook. It is one of the IDE of the Python browser-based IDE. So here I can write my code and manage my code very easily. So there's IDE launch, and let me create a new file. This file is called notebook here. So guys, let's start writing the Python code. So first thing first, what we have to do, anybody who don't know about ID, it's pretty simple. If I have x equal to 5 is a variable, 1 minute. There's option here in the top to run. I click this line run. If you want to print x, we have print as a function. I can print x as a variable. I'll run and output x come. So pretty simple. There's nothing very complex here. Okay. So first thing first, what we have to do, we will tell the Python that I want to use Boto 3 library. And this library is also give you a module. Okay, and module name is also Boto 3. So I want to use Boto 3 module. Okay, that's all. So this module has loaded. This module give you lots of functions. One of the function is called resource function. Okay, why? Because I want to use a resource called S3. Either you can use the word service or resource. By chance, the function name here called S3. So you have to write here which service you want to use, S3, EC2, SQS, you can write. And here guys, what they do internally, this line will go and connect to AWS S3 service. Okay, connect means they connect and also authenticate okay, in one go. Okay, and here they maintain the reference of it in a variable, let's say S variable, or maybe you can give the variable name called S3. Okay, so and maybe they use S3C. So they maintain the reference in this variable. Okay, is this a variable name? Okay, so guys, is resource is connected. But in my case, guys, there is no error come up. Why? This code I am writing in my Windows. Okay, and in Windows, guys, I already have AWS configure on my local laptop. And they already know my access key and the secret key. Okay, so if you want to run this, first use AWS config command, put your access key, secret key that you know already how to do it, create a user in the IAM, give some power to the user, okay, and put the access key, secret key here. This is one way, or other way would be here. Here in they have the give option where we can pass access key and the secret key. How? We just write access key, secret key here, but I'm not putting here because I'm writing the code here online. I don't want my access key and secret key to be compromised. Okay, so this is a very important command, right? Or I can say very important statement. It internally authenticate to the AWS and connect to the S3 service, and this particular variable know that I connected to S3. Okay, and because they know I connected to S3, okay, now whatever you wanted to do in S3, you can do it. Okay, for example, the first thing that we normally do in S3 is to create a bucket. Okay, so they have a function called create bucket. So on this variable, we are running this function. And what this function will do, this function, guys, will go and create a bucket full. Okay, and now that's the interesting thing, guys. So technically, the guy who created a Boto3, they say you don't have to worry about how to go to S3 in web UI and create a bucket. Just use this function and I will create a bucket full. Okay, so and because you are the developer, you are creating this application here. So let's say, guys, this is your website you are creating, and in the website somewhere you write this function, and this function will go and create a bucket there and use the bucket there. And how to use we'll see in a minute. Okay, because you are the developer, you do everything with the code perspective and the development perspective. There's one thing. Okay, second thing here is this function know how to create a bucket. How they know? Because of Boto3. But why? How? But why they can do it? Because AWS say I have S3 as service. In S3 you can do lots of things. Create bucket, use bucket, upload objects, put the object in public readable, put ACL, bucket policies, for everything. All the capabilities I have, all the feature I have, every feature we are giving you the API. Now you are Python developer, you have Boto3 library. This Boto3 library know how to connect all the facility and all the feature of the API. How? With the help of functions. Which function? These kind of functions. So you're going to see all the function name here that is available. So there's one keyword in the Python called dir. When you're on the dir, it will show you all the functions available. So bucket policy function, bucket versioning function, bucket chorus function. Okay, lots of functions they have, depend upon service to service. For example, there's one function you will find somewhere, the huge list is called create bucket function. Okay, and that's what, guys, we are using here. Okay, so I'll go to this particular variable and say I want to create bucket function. Okay, but by chance anybody who know programming, okay, so you can think this resource is a class and this is object, and these are the methods they have. Anybody know object-oriented programming? Okay, those who don't know object-oriented programming think this is a function name because method and function is the same thing. Okay, so I'm using this function. But guys, if you use any function, every function, guys, has their own argument. For example, X argument, Y argument, Z argument. So I don't know what argument they support. Okay, that is also known as signature. I don't know which signature they support. So in the Jupyter, you can go for help, and for help, there's shortcut here, Shift Tab. So if you run Shift Tab here, Shift plus Tab, okay, inside this parenthesis, it will open the signature, and they say here I support lots of arguments or a lot of keyword arguments. What I mean by keyword argument means you can type here my name of my bucket is B1. So this is a key, this is a value, means there is a name of the bucket. This is called keyword argument. Okay, but which keyword argument they support, right? We have to just go and check the help. So you just click on plus, and if you go down, I don't know, my mouse is not properly working today. If you go down, they give you detail of this particular method or the function. Maybe they give you multiple examples also. Examples also. Okay, so if I go down more, okay, here guys, they give you some example. So they say while creating a bucket, you can use ACL as a key, and you can give some value as a value. So you guys know what is ACL, already we discussed, right? If you want this bucket to be public, you can pass ACL equals to public read. Then you can give a bucket name as a string. A string means you can give any name as a bucket, what bucket you want to create. Then you can pass this option, create bucket configuration. Here you can give location constraint, means where you want to this bucket to be created in Mumbai, where you want to create, you can pass here. Okay, and these are the options they supported. These are the region name they supported, and plus some more options, whatever option bucket normally need. Okay, so guys, normally in the help they give you lots of things. Either you can take the help from here, or you can go to your S3 document, and here they're talking the same help. So this line we have already run. This line we already run, and here here they take the example of they use some function here, bucket. But if you use a function called create bucket, maybe they might have here create bucket. So if you use these functions or this method, okay, here also you can get the entire detail about this function, what they support. Okay, so they have the same example here. Okay, so let's go and do it. So what I'm doing here, let me copy till here. Okay, and let's make this pretty simple. So here I'm going to give my bucket name, let's say my Linux world 123 123. This is a bucket name I'm going to use. Okay, and I'm giving some extra configure bucket. This curly braces start. Let me close this curly braces. And here I can pass my location, means the our region name. I'm giving AP South 1, that is a Mumbai. Pretty simple, guys. Okay, so a bucket will be created. Before I run this, because this is first time maybe you guys are doing, let's also open the web UI, so we can keep on comparing what is going on behind the scene. Okay, so right now the plan is to create a bucket. There's the whole and soul plan, right? But I am also explaining you guys the approach. So maybe in the future, if you want to use something else, other services, if you use the same approach, same help, same process, you can use API or SDK both or three for anything. Okay, So this is the total buckets list we have. Okay, and if you see here, let me create new bucket name. Okay, guys, you know what I'm doing here? I am created one more new cell here. Let me cut my code from here, paste here, because this bucket name I have to use multiple times. So what I'm doing, I'm creating a bucket name variable and giving the bucket name here. Let's say my bucket name is AABB clients over 1, 2, 3. And I'm just giving my variable name here. So it would be pretty simple to use multiple times. Okay. So I don't have a bucket name. If you see here AABB something like this. If I run this, there's no error come up. Okay, a success. Why error not come up? There's two reasons, because the user that I am using behind the scene, AWS config here, has the power to do something on S3. Okay, second thing is, in the bucket, you guys know bucket name should be very unique per region basis. So this bucket is not at all available in the Mumbai, right? So there is also the reason why it is created. Okay, and if I refresh, you can see, guys, this bucket name was not here, it has been created. Okay, and one very important, guys, point to be noted here: if you use command SDK, automatically your bucket become public. Right, you see, guys, your bucket is public. Okay, or I can say object in the bucket is public. If you create from web UI, they are not public. Okay, so just keep this in mind, why it is. So if you again go to help, and if you see the help here, so there they write here by default ACL. They might write somewhere, but they're talking by default ACL is public read, something like this. So if you don't want your by default bucket will go public, you can go and write ACL private. Okay, so just read the document who created this function or method, what is the default key property they use or the value they use. Okay, so there's a one thing. So bucket has been created. Now, if you have a requirement, something like this, if you want to list all the bucket name, so what can do, I can go for S3C, this variable, and I can ask here, do you have anything for the bucket? I use tab autocomplete, then type. They have option called all. Okay, so here they have function called all. If I run this, so they say I am a collection. Collection means I have a lot of bucket name. And guys, anything you have a collection, right? Collection is like an array, like a list. So if you want to print entire list, normally use a loop. And in the Python, for the loop, we normally use for. I can say I in and print I. Okay, so they go iterate first one, second one, and finally the print all the bucket name I have. So you guys see here, these are the bucket name I have here. So without going to AWS, my bucket name print. Okay, but here they give you the entire detail. But if you only want to print just a name, so in we can pass a keyword again name. So only the name of the bucket printed. Okay, so if any requirement, you want to just list out all the bucket name that you have in your AWS portal, you can use this function to print it. But one thing is, I wanted to see my name that I created is there. Okay, so pretty simple thing. Now, next thing is, guys, what you have done, you have created a bucket. Why you create a bucket? Idea is pretty simple, because I want in my bucket some object to be uploaded. Right now, if you see in your bucket, it is empty. I have no object. So how to upload the object? Okay, that's what I have to see. But according to guys, my discussion here, you're not the one who upload the object, right? Normally, object will come from your web client. Okay, the upload your application collect, and after they collect the let's say image, they upload it. So how client upload to web app and how web app collect this? This is the knowledge of the developer. Anybody who know web technology, they know how to create this program But let's say after this image come up here, how to upload in S3, that's what I want to show you here. Okay, so for this, okay, what you have to do, okay, you to ask S3C, okay, can you tell me how to connect to the bucket? So they say we have bucket as a function. Because obviously guys, you have to first select the bucket. So you know how I did in my graphical. First we select the bucket. Okay, so that's what we have to do here. So first I have to select the bucket. In my bucket name, guys, I already stored in my variable b name. So b name is a variable that know my bucket name. Okay, and here guys, I'm just giving a variable name called bucket. So technically what this line is doing, this line is exactly like clicking to this bucket or selecting to this bucket. So technically now I'm here, and now whatever you do here, okay, either you go to permissions, management, properties, upload, it will do all this process, all this function will be applied on this bucket. Okay, that's what we are going to do. So this bucket, guys, we have selected. So this particular variable no maintain the reference of this bucket name. now whatever you want to do in this bucket, you have to use this variable called bucket. Okay, so this bucket variable has lots of functions now. If you run the dir command in the Python to see all the function, whatever they support. If you guys see here is a long list. In this bucket, you want to implement chorus, you want to create a life cycle, you want to do something object, okay, or you want to do website versioning. So guys, all the things that you know about the bucket, you can see. Or you want to delete something, delete object, okay, or maybe right now I'm interested in a property called put object. Here it is, this one. So in this bucket, guys, normally we put the object, means you have to upload the file, that's called put. That's what I'm interested in. I say in this bucket, I want to put my object. That would be our plan. Okay, so, and obviously guys, when you put any object graphically, what normally you do, okay, you attach the file. That's all. Or I can say you attach the file data. Okay, so you're not attaching the file, you're attaching the file data. So what I'm doing right now, let me go to my desktop. I'm selecting this file, vimal.jpg. Okay, and I go to my workspace. I think there is in the download. AWS wallet. AWS CSA. I think in my desktop actually. I don't know, my mouse is not properly working. Yeah, here it is. And dev. Okay, so in my current folder where my current code is going on, I put this file vimal.jpg. And I want to upload this file to the cloud. How? With the help of put object function. But guys, understand one thing, when you want to upload some data, you upload the data of the file. Okay, so first of all, what you have to do, so in the Python we have function. Okay, the function name is called open function. Why this function, guys? We can read this file and store the data of the file in the database. So anybody who know file handling, open is file handling function. Technically what open will do, open will give this file data or this file data pointer or this file data reference to the data variable. Because this file is not text file, it's JPG file. So normally this file kind of file is binary. So we have to write that this, I want to read this file in a binary form. That's all. Okay. So if you talk about this data is a Python function altogether. So this data variable know the name of the file, location of the file, and plus where the data located. Okay. So guys, whenever you upload any file in the graphically, same thing you're doing there. you normally give the reference of the file where it is stored in your local hard. Same thing I'm doing here. Now I can go for this bucket variable and say I want to upload my file. And again, if you see the help of this function, what keyword they support. So here they support while uploading, you can make your file public. That you know, guys, public we can do. Plus, they support a variable called body. We can give your file name. Either can give the file name, or you can directly give your binary data. Okay. Or what else you can do? Okay, we can give a key name. Okay, so what I mean by key name here? So that when you upload the file, and the file will store here. Okay, name of the file is a key name. The name of the file here is key. That I already explained, guys, in my last classes. So here, let's say I want to upload a file with a name called Vimal photo.jpg. Okay, and my body part would be this data. So this data is the data I want to upload as a body part, XML data. And when my data is saved in the cloud, the name of the file or name of the object or key of the object will be this. Okay, it's like this. Okay, so let me upload over there. Before I upload, guys, because I'm going to use, let's do in this way. Okay, all right. And guys, there is no error come up. So my data or my object uploaded in this bucket with this file name. And now if I go and refresh here, you'll see, guys, this file come up with this name. Okay, so that's all, guys, your application gonna do finally. After the client upload any images, your web application will go and run only this particular function over here. Over here, and they collect the file name, file data, and they upload there. Okay, so this is a very commonly used function we can do. Now, if you want to give a different file name or give the file name with timestamp, so file won't override every time file come, they attach with a new timestamp as a random number. Okay, you can do it. So that will be your programming skills. What else you want to do on top of this? Okay, now if you want to see how many objects we have in this bucket, so my bucket is there in the bucket variable. This variable know my bucket name, and here if you assign write objects and then tap all. Okay, so this will give me all the objects name I have. Again, they give me collection. Collection means is a list. And if you guys print the list in the Python, we have for n go in this list, collect first item, store in a variable, let's say J, or maybe let's say O. Okay, and print all the objects. Okay, so what they do, they print that in your bucket you have only one object called this. That's what, guys, I have. Okay, so one object there. Let me upload one more. So I'm just doing a small change here. Let me give a Vimal 1.jpg. Same data uploading with a different file name. So now if you see here, one more file come up, maybe same data. Okay. If I again run, now we have a two files. Okay. By chance they are 0 because they feel the same data. So maybe some reference they have created, but same file. Okay. So this is a function we can use to do it. But if you are only interested to only see the key name, okay, so what can you do? In O, we can add dot key. So only the key name, or means the file name, they will print for you. Okay, print for you. But if you are interested in to see some more information about this O, for example, I want to see my storage class. So there's a key here called storage underscore class. So they will print two things, file name and which storage class they are using. So guys, if you see a standard storage class. So when you upload a file, by default class is what is standard. If you click here, you will also find somewhere when you upload this file, by default class of this particular is standard. So standard class they are using. Okay, but let's say you want to upload one more file, and this time you want to change your class name. Okay, how we can do? So let me show you guys how we can change the class name. So what I'm doing here, let create one more new file here, or let me use the same file. Okay, so copy. Let me use the same file here. I'm giving a data one. Okay, and let me upload this file again. With data one with a name called Vimal1. And guys, while uploading, you can decide okay, what would be your storage class. How? They have function available here. Again, I go to Shift tab. So go down. Okay, you will find some function for this. Okay, so let me open full. And if you see here in object, everything, whatever you can do, they have the function available. And right now I'm interested in the storage class. Okay, let's say I want to apply standard AI class on the storage. Okay, so let me go back, and here I can put one more variable name here. Okay, let me tell you another way. Okay, so if you want to upload the file, either you can give the file data, or you can also upload the file upload the file with the file name. Okay, what I mean by this, so let me use other approach. Okay, right now guys, I already have the file. Okay, I already have the file over here, let's say with the name called vimal1.jpg. So this object I already have. Okay, so what can we do? I'll tell my bucket that I have the object already with the name called vimal1.jpg. Okay, and let me store this guy into a variable called my object. So I'm giving the reference here that in this bucket, this key I already have. And on the top of this key, I want to upload this file, upload with the new data, with new properties. I can say in this object, okay, I want to do upload. Upload a new object. Okay, like I want to overwrite. Okay, so I want to overwrite with the file name called vimal.jpg. Right now I'm directly giving a file name, so I don't have to go open my file and read it. I'm directly giving my file name, the file name that I already have, vimal.jpg. So again, I say go to my current system, my current folder, pick this file and upload. This is also the other approach we can do. Upload it. So this file is uploaded over here. Okay, so if I refresh, okay, right now guys, if you see here, this time changed. Okay, 39, this is the current time is coming up. And this data uploaded. So this is also other way to upload. There's two ways. If you have a file data, normally guys, if you run a programming world, normally you have a file data directly with us because data is coming from the network or by client. So normally you have file data. And same data, rather than stored locally, you can directly upload that. So this is very commonly used function. But if file is already with you, so rather than read the file again, you can directly use this upload function to upload. But while uploading, you can do multiple more things. Okay. For example, again, let me take the help of this guy. Open, fully open. And again, they they don't give you so much help, but almost all the capability what they support, put object they support here. For example, they support this property, storage class. So same property guys, this guy also support. Okay, so let me write here this property and say I want to use a standard AI class. By default guy class is standard, you guys see it already. So I want to use this particular class. Okay, so but guys, in the upload file, if you see the detail help, so they have a keyword called extra argument. So this is the extra argument we are providing, and this would be put in the curly braces. Okay, a storage class is my key name and standard I is the value. Okay, so let me hit enter here, so my code look clean. This one. So upload file, guys, this is a function you can see in the document also in the Moto 3 in upload file. So we are uploading this file, this time uploading with the storage class called this. But before I upload, guys, there's a function called, if you run my object and see, can you tell me the storage class? Okay, storage class. So this say nothing. Typically this was standard, but guys, by chance this particular variable, if don't able to see anything, there's a one function called reload. So they reload the data. And now if you again run, that doesn't show you. If it doesn't show you, typically it means they have a storage class called standard normally. Okay, but if I again upload my file, okay, this one in valid syntax. Why? Because in the Python this is called dictionary, and dictionary we don't use equals to, we use colon. Right. Now this file is again overwritten there. If I refresh, the same file again go overwrite, you can see the current time. But this time if you see this file has a storage class standard AI. Okay, or maybe from here also you can check. Again, it doesn't come up. Reload this. They reload the information about this object. Again, run this. You can see this will come up. Okay, so you can do also. So technically everything whatever you know, guys, you can control from the command, because my developer will plan. If we go for standard class, it will more chargeable. We don't need so much speed. I want to minimize my charge, right? Or costing, let's go and change the class. So in the programming, while uploading the file, that time they can plan, this file is very critical. I need a speed. I just change the class standard. This file is not so much critical. Less speed will might go, less replication might go. Let's go for normal class. So they can also plan while uploading these objects. Okay. Right now, if you see this particular file has no encryption setting, it's disabled. So you also want to enable the encryption here. So let me copy the same code. Okay, and here, guys, we can pass comma, one more extra argument. Okay, and this argument you can pick again from here. Okay, so argument would be server-side encryption. Okay, so if you select this one, this value, it will be KMS, means server KMS encryption. If you use this one, it will be server-side encryption. Okay, so I'm using this keyword. Copy, paste here. There's a key value pair, so put in single quote, then colon, then this is value. That's all. Okay, so again my file uploading, because this is, guys, the plan you to do while uploading. Okay, this has been done. Now this file, if I again refresh, you can see about this file. Now this file has encryption enabled, SSC. It's enabled. or we can see from command line also. So I can say my object, can you show me server-side encryption value? Nothing come up. By the guys in the program, you will just reload it to get the latest copy. Now if I run, now they say AES 250. This means server-side encryption. They have support on it. Okay. And now, if you also run this loop one more time, you will see some difference. You have multiple files there. So one file has a standard AI, one is standard class support. Plus more option you can write here. You can write O here. Last modify is also one keyword modified. So here you can see this is the last time this file modified, the last time this file modify. So you can see those information also. Okay, so these are the things you can do. Now, if you want to download the file, so I can say my object. Okay, I would like to download the file. Which file? You give the file name. Let's say vimal.jpg. This vimal1.jpg I want to download. Okay, and obviously guys, if you're downloading, you have to give a destination location with the keyword called file name. Let's say I want to download with a name called h.jpg. So in the current folder, you say guys, in the current folder I don't have h.jpg. So if I run this, okay, a key does download file got an unexpected argument key name. Let me check the help here. Okay, so obviously guys, we don't have to give key name because this variable only know my key, right? So obviously we don't require key name. Just give the file. My object is what? If you search my object know already who am I. So they only know the key. You just give the location where you want to download. So by default, they download the current folder. You can see this file downloaded. Same data come up. Exactly same data come up. Okay. So if you have requirement to download from S3, maybe for some reason you can do it. Okay. And if you want to delete this object, so we have a delete function. So this file will be deleted. And they give you this response trying to tell you everything is working good and this file is deleted. How can I check? Can again run it, and now vimal1.jpg file deleted, or you can just go here and check it is deleted. So this file is deleted. Okay, that's also you can do here. Some more thing you can do, for example, right now, if you talk about this bucket, if you go to this bucket, in this bucket, guys, versioning is disabled. Okay, but in this bucket, if you want to implement the versioning, and because you're doing at the bucket level, so I go to my S3 services, this variable know who I am. I'm an S3 service, and here here they have a function called bucket versioning. Okay, so and you have to give your bucket name. So my bucket name already is stored in this variable. Okay, and I store this in B version as a variable. So technically I connected to this particular service. Now what you want to do with this? So ask B versioning, can you show me the current status? Expected you have to pass some bucket name. Let me do something else. Can you please enable the versioning here? B versioning, they are not enabling. What is the challenge? 1 minute. Sorry guys, my bucket name is in not in the bucket variable. My bucket name is in B name variable. Okay, so I've just given wrong here. So I want to do something on my bucket. My bucket name is B name. Okay, and now can you show me the status of bucket? Nothing. As such means they don't have anything here, or maybe I think this is the function. Yeah, no, it's not callable, it's normal keyword. But if you guys show here and say, can you please enable the versioning? Now there's no error come up. In this case, the output they say, now what are you asking is done. So we have enabled the versioning for you. Even though if you go and check and refresh. Okay, so if you need a bucket, you know how to create, but in this bucket, if you want to enable the versioning, now can say it is been enabled. Now if you upload any object, this object will upload it with the version. Okay, so that also you can do. So technical guys, I try to show you multiple things. Obviously there's no meaning to remember these keyword and the functions. What are the arguments they support? Go to manual, go to help, the way I explained to you, and what exactly you want to do on the top of this, you keep on doing. Okay, so that's what you can do here. Okay, like this, we have multiple other arguments. You have to set up ACL, bucket policies. You just keep on giving the argument or extra argument or ACL. You can do it on the top of it. So that's all, guys, about S3. Now, how you want to use, so in your web applications, after collect the things from the client, first time when you run the application, they create the bucket. You can write some condition if or else. If bucket exists, don't do anything. Keep on collecting the object from the client and upload. The time, which type of file you want to store in which class, which encryption you use, which which want to public or not public. So per application and per object basis, you can plan with in the argument keyword. Okay, and when we want to use this file, maybe you have some other applications. For example, after my after my client login, okay, they have their own portal, and if they go in settings, in the setting, they will see their details, plus they see all their photograph. So this time what are we doing? We are downloading the photograph. Not downloading, actually, I can say download is a different thing, but when we give the option client to download the photograph, when this option click, okay, they will download the photograph. How? We use the download function. Okay, but whatever photograph you see here, every photograph is a public URL. You can post in the img tag of HTML, then photograph show here. Or if you want this photograph would be only be shown by this client, you can pre-signed this photograph. What is pre-signed URL? We discussed already. Yeah, we also have pre-signed function available here. Okay, through which you can create a pre-signed URL. So if you go to S3C, and there I think we have generate okay, pre-signed URL. I think there's one more function, guys, in the Boto 3. This is called client function. Here you can pass which client you are going to connect, S3. Let me store, guys, in S3C1. And this function has a capability of generate pre-signed URL. Okay, so you can go and create a pre-signed URL. What is a pre-signed URL? You guys know. Here they give you client method. Okay, and expiry time, and maybe some examples they might give. Okay, so what are whichever object you want to create as a pre-signed, you can do it. Okay, so let me show you very quickly. Okay, let me copy all this thing, post here. So client method, let's say method will be what? When my client want to download, so there's one method called get object. You can find more about this in your document. And I want some parameter to pass. Okay, one of parameter you can pass is your bucket name. I know my bucket name is in B name. Okay, then I want to pass my key name. This is my file name. Okay, either you can store a file name in some variable, or I already know my file name, Vimal photo.jpg. File name or object name, or I can say the key name over here. So I want I want in this bucket, this file name, I want to create a URL. It's called pre-signed URL only for get. Okay, so they will provide me, it is for this much seconds. HTTP method. And let me store, guys, it is a URL variable. Right now, if I print the URL, I see this URL come. This same URL I showed you yesterday, but today we created a program. And after we create this URL, guys, we put in the img tag of HTML. Okay, and when my user login inside the portal, this URL we put here in the img tag of HTML, and this photo will come up. Only this user will see this because it's been pre-signed. Okay, and nobody try to see the photograph with the entire content of my videos. Nobody can see because by default my bucket or my image will be private. So those kind of planning also, guys, you can do. So Moto 3 perspective, Python 3 perspective, these are the things you have to do. Okay, but as a developer, you can write your further your full stack development knowledge of HTML, JavaScript, some more things to further how and where you want to implement. Okay, so guys, lots of information I have provided to you over here. Depend how you want to use this. So it is about S3, but the way I explain you, same kind of flow if you see in EC2 or other services, you can see this kind of flow. But yeah, in upcoming class, when I talk about like DynamoDB, I also explain you how to use Moto 3 with DynamoDB and some more services. You become more comfortable with this. So I will share, guys, this entire code to you. Any questions till now? If you have, you can, guys, ask me. Yes, Patel, we will discuss API gateway and other services what you're talking about in this in this developer track. Okay, don't worry. But at the level, whatever level we have, we launch Mun stack for public. Aditya, actually, we launch Mun only for summer because we have a big plan for the summer, guys, and for this plan we need Mun development knowledge. That is the reason we launch for summer, right? As such, no plan for public right now. Let's see, but right now no plan as such. Guys, in the production world, either you can put your credential in your code because Python is a server-side language. Okay, nobody can see your code in the server side. So putting your credentials here is not harm as such. Or second thing is, if you think your code is shareable in GitHub or maybe other team can see it, so don't put your credentials here. Wherever you are running your code, you can use AWS config command, or maybe you can use some environmental variable in your shell, export the values. We can put the credentials there. Okay. Buddhi Prakash, today is your birthday. Happy birthday from my side. Enjoy your day. So, Krishna, you are saying some error is coming up creating bucket. most probably, you are using the bucket name that is not the valid name. Okay, maybe bucket name is very big in size, or maybe bucket name has some special character, or maybe bucket name you use is already exist in the region. Okay, so that is the reason this error normally come up. So try to give a bucket name something like this. Maybe try with this name. It might be available. So error won't come. Okay, just try again. It will be resolved. So that's all, guys, for today. See you in the next class. We'll see a lot of interesting technical concepts in the upcoming class. Maybe Saswan, maybe bucket name not accept capital letter is again upon the policies of AWS. Just go and check what naming convention they support for S3 bucket name. So we have to follow it, right? So that's all, guys, for today. We'll see you in the next class with more detailed discussion on some other services. Bye, take care.